Welcome to the show. This is Future Shock. I'm Edward St. Pé, and thanks for being with us. Every week we take a look at what's happening in AI news and all the tech news and what is happening across the planet. So many things. We've been following the news from OpenAI and all of the the activity revolving around Sam Altman being fired and then being hired back with some of the board members resigning. So we've got a little news on that, an update on that, what's happening at OpenAI. Also, we've got more information on the release, or not the release, but the in the short term, the coming release of Sora, which was the text-to-video application that was developed by OpenAI, the same people who brought us ChatGPT. And so if you have seen some of the videos we've had recently, it's really amazing, what it can do. And so we'll show a clip that will once again show us a little of the video examples that you can do when it will be available to the public. Right now, it's not available yet, but you'll be able to see a little more about what it can do. And also, this particular clip is going to talk about some of the industries it's going to displace. What is it going to mean? It's going to create new industries. It's going to destroy some old industries and create some new industries. That one application. And it's here. I mean, I saw a quote from Elon Musk, I guess this morning, and he said, getting everybody together on what's happening with AI and the advent of the oncoming exponential explosion in intelligence across the planet, getting everybody on board with what's happening is like, you go into a building and say, there's a fire going on, I'm coming to rescue you, and the person arguing with you and saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't really believe that there's a fire, show me, meanwhile the place is burning down. So it's like, that's where it's at right now. I mean, for him to categorize it like that, I think that's pretty profound in itself. I mean, that's a pretty dramatic explanation, of what he sees happening out there as far as a lot of folks being, I guess, mundane, taking it as a mundane, occurrence that AI is about to take over the planet. Somebody this morning, I was listening to a clip, and the person, the analogy was, is it on a par with nuclear weapons? Because there's been a lot of analogies, AI being equated with nuclear war or nuclear bombs and such. And that person commented that, yes, in a way it is, in a way it's not. Here's a way that it is. We had an arms race back, during those years after World War II, an arms race to build the best and the biggest, the most lethal and the most accurate nuclear bombs. Okay, that was an arms race. Now we're in an AI race. Nobody's pausing. Nobody's going to pause. It's just a complete, everything is on it, let's go. And that's where it's at right now. What's the difference? Well, the nuclear arms race was all about one thing, destruction. And the AI race, that we're in now is not that way. It's not a race to destruction. It's a race for so many great things. It can be anyway. It can be the way to stop certain diseases, from continuing on the planet. It could eradicate diseases. Things that people find afflictions with now could be eradicated. There's a great example. I think personally, like Neuralink, Elon Musk's project, where they can implant a chip in the brain that will now give motor skills to people who can now control, arms and such by thinking. In other words, in so many things, maybe restore sight, so many things. I mean, there's an example of AI-infused technology that can help people. But there are bad things too, and that's where they, I think it's called P-Doom, and P-Doom is everybody. What's your P-Doom? What is my prognosticated idea of the doom that's coming with AI? That's my P-Doom quotient. So what's your P-Doom? Do you have one yet? hopefully, it's not going to all go bad. It's going to go good, and to the extent that we can kind of, I don't know, it's going to be hard to distract the bad actors from getting involved. And what about fake news? What about false information? What about deep fake technology? I mean, where is that going to go? I mean, we've already seen many instances of it out there. It's only going to get more precision-based, in realistic with the technology that's at play right now. And so, anyway, there's a lot to unpack as we go forward. Okay, one more segment in the show is the advances that humanoid robotics are making. We talked about that last week. We showed some video, Boston Dynamics, amazing clips from their robots, which are working, they're able to do actual work now. We've got something from Tesla on their humanoid robot development, and we'll take a look at some clips from Tesla's humanoid project. Okay, that's a roundup of our show, and also we're going to do a live commercial inside the show on some of our new products and some of our products here in the Apothecary. That's the sponsor of this show, the Pendragon Apothecary, pendragonapothecary.com. I believe later this week, maybe even by tomorrow, we'll be up with our new website. So anybody that might want to order something from the store, you can do it. We've got, I would say, forward-leaning wellness products, mushroom powders and tinctures and things like that. Okay, first off, in our show today, let's go to a Sora update. Sora will both create new industries and destroy old industries. Let's take a look.
OpenAI has leveled up again with the announcement of Sora. Based on the technical documentation and in a gross oversimplification, the model works by breaking up the image into tokens that run through a transformer model, the T that made everything possible and all of your emails sound more better. OpenAI's co-founder and chief computer scientist Ilya Sutskever said a year before Sora's launch that a neural network's ability to generate text and predict the next word is a projection of what it means to be human.
This text is actually a projection of the world, and the neural network learns a compressed, abstract, usable representation of that. Mm-hmm. This is what's being learned from accurately predicting the next word.
Now, if text is that vital to understanding our world, video elevates that understanding to a different level. But of course, there are people who argue against that point, like Meta's chief AI scientist, Jan LeCun.
It doesn't work for video. What works for text doesn't work for video.
But we're not here for a nerd war, nerds as we may be. OpenAI announced Sora, the internet went crazy, Sam Altman took requests like an eager DJ, and one thing became pretty clear pretty quickly. Sora is going to erase a few businesses and hand that value to new ones. Let's look at the most obvious one, the stock footage industry. In 2022, research firm Ariston released a report where they estimated that the $4.7 billion stock image and footage industry would reach $7 billion by 2027, bolstered by the increase in content needs for advertisers, brands, companies, and creators. Shutterstock is considered to be a market leader in the stock content world. In 2021, the company made a deal with OpenAI that allowed the AI startup to train its models on Shutterstock's vast library of images and videos. In exchange, Shutterstock would get priority access to the models. The partnership expanded in 2023 with a new 6-year agreement. A deal with Daredevil, some would say, with a new tool that allows anyone to get any image or video they want at a pretty high quality and adjustable through a text interface. The underlying business model of an industry that was supposed to near $8 billion in just a few years is essentially wiped out. In the medium term, virtual effects, production, and 3D video generation is another industry that will be upended by the new model. The nearly $400 billion animation industry that features players like Pixar, Netflix, and Disney, as well as tons of players in the anime space, will see a massive disruption as the technological moat drops significantly. Alternatively, Quest and the Vision Pro have created a glimpse into the future of VR, and it's very 3D reliant. Companies like Unity and Unreal Engine that power the creation of these unique visual and gaming experiences are going to be permanently changed by Sora's advancement. These players represent a market that is expected to account for almost $80 billion in less than a decade. But the industry risks being over-reliant on AI video models to serve their customers, making them more similar to wrappers than the foundations that help builders create. This new glob of value isn't being destroyed, it's being transferred. In fact, it splits into two buckets, with the value going to the underlying tech and the individual. Think of it this way. Rather than an entire team of animators, virtual effects, lighting specialists, and more, an individual with a story to share will be able to create and distribute a story at high speed and efficient cost. And creating new worlds in the gaming and VR space will be streamlined and available to the individual creator. And as far as the stock footage industry, the Wipeout may also be just a rebrand. The idea of going to these sites and purchasing 10 seconds of footage will fade. But high-quality data is the only way OpenAI or any competitor will be able to create a usable model. It essentially shifts every B2C stock site to a B2B video supplier. OpenAI may also enlist an army of stock filmmakers to collect certain scenarios that are missing from the model. And of course, the other bucket. It's worth mentioning the default winners of any AI model that requires more compute are the providers of the compute and the chip makers that provide the providers with the ability to host that compute. It's an unbreakable law of AI business. Speaking of...
So as you can see, a lot of industries are headed to be upended by Sora. It makes perfect sense that this would happen because, you know, it takes a whole team of people to create animation and to shoot and edit and such as this. And this will do it by merely speaking a text into the app, and it will come back with the video already produced. It's an amazing thing. It's almost magical, really. It is magical. It's beyond, you know, I guess when technology, I forgot the exact saying, but, you know, when the technology gets to a certain point, it's indistinguishable from magic, right? At that point, when it's to that level of technical complexity, and that's where we're at. So it's an interesting time, and there is an example of an AI upending an industry perfectly right before us, and it's about to be released. We've seen the videos. All of those clips that you saw were created by Sora in their on their website. You can look at, you know, the examples of what it will do, even though it's not released yet. I think it's released in a certain research mode that you can access if you really drill down and try to access it. It's a test mode, but for the public, it's not released yet. But it will be before very long. And you know, I'm already using the other one that's out now under the OpenAI brand. It's called DALL-E. It's part of ChatGPT-4, so it's the graphics element, I guess you could say, of ChatGPT-4. And I'm using it now to create graphics for the television station, for the show, this show. The future shot graphic that you saw at the beginning of the show, that was basically me texting or speaking a text into the DALL-E app, or the ChatGPT-4 DALL-E segment in there, and telling them what I wanted and trying to explain, and then coming back with a few different examples, and that's the one that I chose, the one that we're using on the air. So it's pretty amazing. So it's a great tool, but it's going to have some adverse impact for existing industries, but it's going to spawn brand new industries in the process. So it's kind of like a transfer, you know. It's the technology upending the old model and giving birth to a new model. Sort of like, if you stop and think about it, you can remember back in the day, you know, people would go to Blockbuster and they would rent a video and they would come home and look at it. They didn't even have to bring it back. Kind of an archaic system, but that's what it was, a billion-dollar industry, I guess. And look what happened. It's gone. And now with streaming, you can go to Netflix and order the video, and there it is. Boom. You know. So it's still video, it's still films, but instead of doing that methodology that was, you know, in place with that model, Blockbuster, that model's gone, upended by the new model, streaming via Netflix and an array of other apps where you can stream video. So it's the same type of situation, but it's even more profound because it's across all industries at one time. Boom. It's not just one industry and we look at it as a model and say, look what can happen, you know. It's like, you know, the folks that were doing the trains, you know, at the dawn of that age, right, and not realizing they were in the transportation business and they were only in the train business, so they weren't really interested in going into the automobile business, you know. So the automobile business upended the train business, and you know, and on and on and on with it, you know, with technologies that came and just destroy the old model. Same business but different format, right? So anyway, let's move on. We've got another update. This is an update that is basically kind of a general update on AI news. We like to do that every week. This is sort of a grouping of pieces that made the news last week in the world of AI. Let's take a look.
OpenAI recently announced they're welcoming back Sam Altman to their board and introducing new members like Dr. Sue Desmond-Hellmann, Nicole Seligman, and Fidji Simo. This news came after a big investigation by a law firm called WilmerHale into why Sam Altman had to leave his CEO position before. They found out that there were some trust issues between the old board and Sam, but concluded that Sam and another leader, Greg, are still the right people to lead OpenAI. During this tough time, OpenAI's employees showed a lot of support for Sam, which influenced the changes that followed. Besides bringing in new board members, OpenAI is also dealing with a lawsuit from Elon Musk, who is unhappy about how the company is working with Microsoft. Despite these challenges, OpenAI continues to grow, with its ChatGPT app becoming incredibly popular and attracting huge investments. All right, now Anthropic has recently launched its newest AI model called Claude 3. This model is a big deal because it's better at math, understanding information, and coding compared to what Google and OpenAI have made. The AI model comes in 3 types: Haiku, Sonnet, and Opus, with Opus being the most advanced. These versions are designed so people can choose what works best for their needs, balancing smartness, speed, and cost. The top model, Opus, is especially noted for outshining its rivals. Amazon Web Services will include these Claude 3 models for its business customers as part of its ongoing collaboration with Anthropic. This introduction is part of the bigger competition among tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft in the AI field. Meanwhile, government regulators are watching these companies closely to ensure fair competition in the booming AI sector. Next, researchers have come up with a new way to find and remove risky information from AI systems, making them safer. This method, called MindWipe, can help stop AI from being used for bad things like cyber attacks or making bioweapons. A team from Scale AI, the Center for AI Safety, and other experts worked together on this project. They made a bunch of questions to see if an AI could help make dangerous weapons, then used the MindWipe method to get rid of this dangerous knowledge without harming the AI's other abilities too much. The idea is to make sure AI doesn't cause big problems while still working well in other areas. This approach is surely a better way to keep AI systems safe compared to older methods, which were easier to get around. Even though the technique mainly focused on removing certain types of knowledge, like biology and cybersecurity, it's seen as an important step in making AI safer for everyone. Now, another breakthrough. Researchers at Cornell Tech have made a computer virus that uses AI to move around on its own. This virus is a kind of worm, meaning it can spread itself without any help. The team tried this out on AI email helpers from big tech companies like OpenAI's GPT-4, Google's Gemini Pro, and an open source model called Lava. They made a special input that tricks these AI models into helping the virus spread and steal personal info like names and credit card numbers. The virus can even hide in pictures, making it easier to spread through emails without people knowing. After finding out how serious this could be, the researchers told OpenAI and Google about it. OpenAI said they're working on making their systems safer. This experiment shows us that while AI is cool for things like helping with emails, it's important to keep these systems safe from hackers and viruses. As AI becomes a bigger part of our lives, making sure it's secure is crucial. Okay, next. Meta is putting a lot of money into AI.
So that's the latest in AI news, and you know, there's something that I became aware of, I think it was yesterday, that, you know, we talked so much in the beginning about the big news when Sam Altman was fired. for that brief time before they hired him back at OpenAI. It was a big deal. Why was he fired? You know, it's never really been said why. You know, I think that the board said at the time it was maybe something to the effect that he was being less than transparent with them or something like that. But whatever it was, there's been a lot of speculation about that. And, you know, one of the things that kept coming up in the news that I, you know, mentioned along the way is some people said that there was a leak or a supposed leak out of OpenAI that said that their new project, the Q project, QStar, had reached AGI, had reached, you know, sentience or basically artificial general intelligence. And so that was kind of a speculation, you know, as to whether that leak was real or was it, you know, maybe something that was not real, you know. Anyway, it was kind of figured out that it was real, probably. And so, and Sam Altman even commented on it at the time. He said something to the effect that it was an unfortunate leak. He didn't say it wasn't true. He just said it was an unfortunate leak. And anyway, a lot of people believe that maybe that's what it was. Maybe that OpenAI achieved AGI at that time, and for whatever reason, the board didn't like the way Sam Altman explained it to them, or maybe withheld information for a short time or whatever. But anyway, they fired him. Anyway, they quickly hired him back, and the board ended up having to leave. But to drill down a little further on what happened there, I learned this weekend that what it was that this leak was referring to is that the AI bot, maybe QStar, was able to decrypt information. So any encrypted information was automatically decrypted. And that was the startling, shocking revelation that occurred at the time when Sam Altman was fired. So what would that mean? Well, as I've learned, you know, being able to decrypt encrypted information would upend the whole civilized world as far as every password, every information on banking, every single thing, not to mention things that were even globally life-threatening. So did that happen? Or is it possible for an AI to figure out how to decrypt encrypted messages of all sorts instantly? Well, there's an example of something fairly profound. And so, I don't know. I guess we'll find out pretty soon. But anyway, QStar is the program at OpenAI, and that's not a release program. I guess it's a research program that's in development. That's the one that's in question with the potential reaching AGI already, presently, by OpenAI. Okay, it's time for our break, and this is when we do a little spot for our program. Our sponsor for this show is Pendragon Apothecary, and we're a shop located in downtown Ocean Springs, and we are here, and we're over the air on Channel 7, which is Ocean 7 Television, but now we're streaming too, and we're streaming on a number of platforms right now, and we hope to be streaming on a few more very soon. Anyway, here's an example of a forward-leaning wellness product that we've got here. You've heard of Blue Lotus. We get Blue Lotus at the shop from Thailand, and it's a blue flower, and it's been used in medicinal arenas all the way back, you know, as far as, and probably beyond that, but as far as we know, Egyptian times. The Egyptians used the flower. They made tea with it. They used it for sort of a means of getting into a meditation mode, the Zen type mode, you know, and a prayerful mode. And they also they made tea with the flower, and we've got that here. This is our tea. This is Blue Lotus flower, and that's what it is. And you steep it, and you drink it. It's an anti-anxiety product. It promotes lucid dreaming, opens your third eye chakra. It helps you to relax naturally without any drugs. So here's the next level of that. This is Blue Lotus infused light red wine. So this is also something the Egyptians used thousands of years ago as a means of relaxing, but they used this for lovemaking because as I have read, it seems to have opened up more of a tantric communication or it's more spiritual bonding of the partners. And so we've got it here. And it's Blue Lotus infused red wine at Pendragon Apothecary. And we've got pendragonapothecary.com, which we've been working on a new site, which I think it's up. If it's not up yet, it'll be up in the next 24 hours, I believe. Okay, that's pendragonapothecary.com, and we're in Ocean Springs, 1016 Government Street. Okay, we've got a couple of minutes left. Let me mention humanoid robots. It's an explosive thing that's happening right now. We showed video last week from Boston Dynamics. We've got another video. This is a video from Tesla. Let's take a look at what Tesla is doing with the robotic activity.
After 2 years of research and development, Tesla's humanoid robot is getting closer to humanity than ever. The sales figures for the initial versions could revolutionize the technology market, with a declaration of the goal to produce 1 million Optimus units by 2025. Musk plans to overcome production barriers that have the world in awe. Additionally, the advancement of AI fuels ambitious ideas about the development of Figure AI's humanoid robot, as they recently announced a list of investments in what's considered their superior technology. So, how will Elon Musk deal with these challenges? Is the technology of competitors worth Tesla's attention? Welcome to Tesla Car World. Please show your support by subscribing and ringing the bell so you won't miss out on any of our interesting videos in the future. Now, let's get started with today's content. Modeled after the human form, capable of walking on 2 legs and designed for manual labor, Figure's humanoid robot is currently relying on real-life human input. With millions of job vacancies in the U.S., Figure's humanoid robot is designed to perform tasks that people may not want to do or lack the skills for. It's envisioned to tackle more advanced tasks such as caring for the elderly or even cooking. This sounds very familiar. In 2021, Elon Musk shocked the world by revealing plans to build an AI-based humanoid robot. Initially, skepticism prevailed, fueled by the sight of a dancer disguised as a humanoid robot performing on stage. However, when the Tesla bot Bumblebee made its debut, it became evident that Elon Musk's promise held true. Returning to Figure AI's humanoid robot, the prototype they're developing bears a striking resemblance to the earlier version of the Tesla bot, with a skeletal structure and traditional rigid movements. It seems they have successfully raised a substantial $675 million in funding from OpenAI and Microsoft, alongside Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. This funding has valued Figure, the creator of...
So we're going to continue with more on that video, Tesla robots, what they're doing in the world of humanoid robot development on tomorrow's show. So thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you tomorrow.